And we are live. Welcome back to the Grindtime podcast. Today I have a good friend of mine with us. Does it a little bit of everything in the fitness industry. Well known, I would say, out here. Been in viral videos of herself flipping tires and done it all. Had me on her podcast several times myself. With us today, Miss D. As I like to call you. How are you, ma'am?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited, in the borough and doing all the things.
As always. It's always something going on.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So, tell the people a little bit about you, what got you into working out, everything like that, just give us a little brief.
Okay. So Dani D, I own my own, personal training business called danidfitness. I started it going on 8 years ago, and I actually grew up in Murfreesboro. Mm-hmm. So I started dancing at the age of 3, and then I started competing at the age of 10, and I loved it. Fell in love with movement. I danced, I tumbled, I did everything. So I would go to school all day long, and then I would hit straight to practice afterwards and everything. And I wouldn't get home till 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then do homework and then do it all over again, right? And so I've always been very scheduled, very goal oriented, and if you can't tell. And then I got into a dance college, and I ended up not going. So I went to UT Knoxville for school and went up there, didn't move for a whole year, and was like, I'm done. I was so dramatic. I was like, I'm done with dancing. I'm never going to do it again. Cause I didn't get into UT's dance team. And so I was like, whatever. I threw away all my dance stuff. Anyway, so dramatic. And then I went to the gym one time. I got on the treadmill. I started sweating and I was like, oh no, this is not for me. I was like, I'm out. And so I left. I was like, I'm never going back to that place again. Fast forward a year later. And I'm like, man, I don't feel good in my body. When I did movement, I loved it. And I was just drinking in college and I was in a sorority and all these things. And anyway, so finally I was like, I got to have movement again. So I auditioned to be a group fitness instructor, got the job. So making $9 an hour, certified. So then I made $11 an hour when I became a personal trainer there. And I did that. And I taught as many classes as I could, cultivated what you now know as Move Fit, my Killer Core, lower body blast, upper body blast, all those classes. And then I started doing personal training, graduated, went to Vermont, worked there at an all women's healthy living resort. And then I came back to Franklin. I had a job at a corporate gym, worked there for about a year and a half, and then started danidfitness. So that's kind of been my trajectory of stuff. And within all of that, before I started my business, was a lot of heartache when it came to body image and a lot of verbal abuse and a lot of body shame from people, especially people that I loved. And it was one of those things where I genuinely would look at myself because I danced in front of mirrors. And I was like, I love what I see. I loved my body. Right. And it became, and I'm wearing my shirt LYB, all the time. But it was one of those things where I didn't understand why everyone had such a problem with it. Mm-hmm. And it was one of those things I didn't look like a dancer. So it was always kind of yeah, you dance. Or when I was lifting weights and stuff, oh, you lift weights. It just was always kind of that thing of I didn't fit into any type of group. So I just kind of stood on my own. And that's where coming up with my business, I was I tried to find communities that I fit into, and I never did. So for me, it was one of those of I am going to create my own community.
Exactly.
So that's how I started.
I will say that is the one thing I love about you too. Because I even do it in my own way. All my life I've been a part of the one that's I'm not going to fit inside any exact box. Mm-hmm. So it's I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't care how you think or what I look like. Oh, you shouldn't be doing this. Today I was out there playing disc golf.
Yeah.
Not too many black people really, I don't think, play disc golf. I've never watched any of the big events or anything like that. But I'm not too many. My friends play it. I enjoy playing it. It's a lot of fun and everything else. And it's just I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to have a good time doing it. And I'll say that's what I love about you.
Oh, thank you.
One of the many things,
Yeah.
As well. But it's just literally a part of it. And especially in the fitness industry that we're all in and everything else, you see a lot of it and everything with people too. It's oh yeah, you got to look this certain way and everything else. And even competing, G knows, y'all both done it. Yeah. And that's something else I want to touch on and everything else. It's you have to look this certain way. You have. Right. And if you don't, it's a problem.
Right. And that's why I think where my brand is just so different, because I've literally shown time and time again that it's like I ran, I always say the number of how many half marathons I've done because it makes me mad that I haven't done 10. So I've done 9 half marathons. 9. So anyway, so like I'm just about to run another 13 miles
Just
and
go
then
ahead
call
and
it
get it
even.
over with.
You know what I mean? I ran 4 the other day, and I mean, whatever, it was fine. But
I can barely do 2 right now.
oh my gosh. Well, after I got injured with my strongman, because I competed in strongman, and I got injured and couldn't feel from like here down on my whole left side, so I had to regain strength, and basically was told I can walk, and I was like, cool, that sucks. So anyway, so they were like, you do not need to run ever again. And they also told me though that the nerve damage may not go away completely. Like there's so many like things up in the air, and I was like, we're just gonna see what God has in plan for me. And so I worked really hard, rebuilt kind of from the ground up. That's how I got into bodybuilding, and then because it's like not as heavy as weight. So I was like, okay, it'll be better, and to stay healthy and stuff in that injury. But it was one of those things where like I kind of got rid of running and did more Stairmaster and fell in love with that. So I literally hadn't ran. I ran for a nonprofit, for a fundraiser in October, my first 3 miles. That was the first time since 2019 because I got injured in 2020. So I mean that 5 years, right? And then I literally the other day ran 4, and I was just like, man, like that sucked. But I didn't have any leg pain. There was no numbness. Like I felt really positive and really good about it. So it just goes to show you that like, again, your body is capable of so many things and incredible things, and we can't just live in the confinements of, oh, you have this happen, so you can't do this, or you're this size, so you can't do this. And so, and so all that to say, it's like, with the business and the brand, I've always felt like if there's been an opportunity of something I can do, I want to try it, see how I like it. So, that was like strongman competitions. Didn't know that I'd be good at them. Came out the gate winning the first one and was like, oh, okay, cool. You know what I mean? I remember literally was there. I had only heard of strongman for the past like 2 weeks prior. Oh, wow. And like we rode up there together, me, my trainer, and then this coach, the guy, and literally I get in there and just like beast it. People are like, who is this chick? And I'm wearing a Dani Fitness like tank, and then booty shorts, whatever. And literally, I remember my friends were outside in the lobby and we're like taking a shot. And this lady goes, hey, is your name Dani? Because like my shirt. I was like, yeah. And she was like, they just called your name in there. So I just went, shoot. And so we take the shot. I literally take it. We run in there, and I go up to the promoter and I look at him. I said, because he just looks at me. I said, did I win? And he said, yeah. And I went. And I just like posed and I like smiled at the camera and I was like, let's go. Like I didn't even know I won.
Right.
I had no idea how it worked. I was like, I just lifted a bunch of stuff and had fun and it was awesome, And so it's just like, you know what I mean? Like,
yes, I can say normally, I mean, you didn't have any kind of pressure on you. It's like
exactly.
You went and did what you love to do is lift weights right there and lift heavy objects.
Yes. And that's what I wish that with like bodybuilding, with things that like that mindset could have stayed. Do you know what I mean? But yes. I am very much so like type A. I'm very, like I said, organized, detailed. Yeah. And so for me, it was like with the bodybuilding, like, I mean, I believe that like I'm meant to compete and I'm a competitor, but even I feel like I like took it too far, if that makes sense, because I just had no, I had no real guidance. Like my coach sucked and he was just not the best. And so it was one of those things where like you can't just let like a kid run around outside. You know what I'm saying? And be like, yeah, you'll be fine. Yeah. It's like, no, like they probably won't be. Like you kind of need to watch them and tell them like some parameters, like and whatever, and check in on them. But it was almost like, oh no, but like they're responsible. They got it. They'll be okay. Yeah. But within that sport, like it's too many variables.
Too many details. It's too. Yeah.
It's too much detrimental. I mean, I can't really see out of this eye now because of my autoimmune and stuff that was affected because of that, because of all the stress. I mean, I was running myself ragged. And so that's where it was like, I'm like, like strongman was so beautiful to think about, whatever. But with strongman, I was beating myself up in a different way. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And then I had to deal with the physical, right? And then even though my eye is physical, it comes from like internal. So it's like, it just feels different because it now is I don't know. It's just like a different type of barrier to cross now. And I just wish that, like I said, that I would have had a better experience with it. Because I think a lot of people now think that, I hate bodybuilding or I hate whatever. And it's not that. No. I learned a lot of great things and I transformed my body and I did all my stuff and whatever. And it was amazing. But it was just one of those things of like, I just needed more support. And I felt very like, I don't know. Like, and you both know with being trainers and coaches and stuff, like you can't just be like, Like I remember things that were said to me like, well, this is just hard. And I was like, dude, like, no, my body's failing right now.
No.
Like I remember sitting on the couch, I mean, like bad stuff. Like I remember sitting there and I was eating my stupid lean ground beef over and over again, right?
Yep.
And literally choking it down to the point where I actually choked. And I'm by myself at my house. You've been there, you've seen it, like whatever. Like who's gonna save me? Louie across the street, the dog.
Right.
You know, I mean, he would though. He would. He loves.
he would
He
do it
loves
all
me.
for
He would
you.
know if I wouldn't come out for a day or so. But it was one of those things where like I literally I choked, and then I sat there and I was like, if this was it, I was like, okay. Like, and that's so sad. Like, I was so depressed. And, like, naturally, I've always been a positive person. I've been so happy all my life. Like, I've had, you know, God's blessing over me with everything that I've done. And so it's one of those things where, like, I knew something was wrong then, and I should have removed myself. But because of being stubborn and because we got to finish and we got to see things through, right, and being competitive, I was like, I'll finish this thing. I'll do it, right? And I went on stage and couldn't see out of my left eye. You know, and so it's like people are like, "Man, you've never looked better." You da. And I was like, I wish I could even see myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
1000%. Because I mean, I was there. We were talking a lot through it all, and I'm just like, I think you should just chill out. I know you want to do it, but is it worth it?
Right.
That's why I always look at things nowadays. Like, is it really worth it in the end and everything else? It's like when people want me to compete, I'm like, see, I'm not that competitive. That's the thing about me now. That I'm not competitive. I enjoy what I'm doing. I enjoy just chilling with everybody that wants to do it. If that's what you want to do, yeah, I'll help when I can help and stuff like that. I enjoy that more.
Right.
The fact of being behind the scenes. Like, holla at me, you need a vent. Holla at me, you know, if you need workout tips or stuff like that. Like, that's where I like being, and everything else in the back of things.
Well, I found like my self-worth in what I was doing. Because I was like, I do Dandy Fitness for so many people that it was like I needed my thing, and I tried to really be like separate with it. And so, because strongman was so extreme, and it was totally different than what I did with clients or any of that, right? And training and stuff. So it's one of those things where like it's so, you know, what's it called? Like different that it wasn't a part of it. So that's why I loved it. But also with strongman, I mean, I went into that knowing that I had a pre-existing back condition, because when I danced, I used to tumble. So when you tumbled, I would do like flips with no hands. So I was doing aerials over and over and over again in like these dance shoes that had like heels. So, you know, you're doing this over and over. So your hips are off alignment. So I cracked and had a fracture in my vertebrae. So to the point where like, I used to tan like tanning beds, and so like when I would lay in a tanning bed, like I couldn't get up because of how it was. I couldn't even get up. So I had to like mark through the dances, and then when it came time to compete, I would get out there and compete with a messed up vertebrae. But I like that's how, you know what I'm saying. So like so I was like marking during rehearsals, and then when we got on stage, full out. Did it. And I mean, obviously the bone mended, right? But then it just didn't go back how it was supposed to. It was spondylolisthesis, so it shifted forward. And then with the carry that I did as a 400-pound farmer carry for strongman, I did it 1,000,000 times. That was like my best event. And I went down, the handles were lower than usual, and just the vertebrae couldn't handle it, shifted more forward, crushed that disc. So it's just like one of those things of like, I knew going into that though, every competition, that like it could be my last because I had the pre-existing back condition. The part that bothers me is that even though I was larger bodied, quote unquote, and like overweight before when I got injured, I put on weight. I still was eating like a strong woman. And then I lost a loved one. So I was going through grief, right? And then video goes viral. And then it was like, okay, I gotta be in front of people and like, you know, whatever. And I was like, I need to kind of get things together. I need to feel like, you know, I'm about to lead workout classes for Shape Magazine in front of millions of people. I need to like be able to not have to huff and puff, right? Like doing the workout at Nissan Stadium. So I'm like, okay, let's start to move. So I started with body weight again. I started with, you know, just walking, all the things and whatever. And it was just one of those things of like with bodybuilding, then like because of all the stress and stuff, I never thought of those things like, oh, burnout or whatever. Like I didn't know that could affect my vision. Right? Like, who knows that?
Yeah,
who,
I didn't know that.
Who talks about that? Yeah. Nobody.
Nobody does.
And you know what happens is when I put that out there, people told me. They messaged me like, oh, same thing happened to me. Oh, same coach. Oh, yeah, that's what happened. I was on bed rest. I can't have kids now. These 17-year-olds being like that they're permanently messed up because they were pushing drugs. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, no.
Right?
They just want the look and everything else and the awards and all that. And I'm like, no, I actually care about your health. because your body doesn't know the difference between what kind of stress you have. Like, so all those stresses are adding up, and it's just stress on the body. So it's going to go back to the basics functions and start shutting down. Like everything else is like you're getting overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And the body doesn't know the difference between all the different ones. And people are just like, oh, now that you put it that way, it's like, oh, yeah, it makes sense. I'm like, yes, you've got a lot of stress from all these things going on, and you're trying to compete.
Yeah.
On top of that, like you're trying to be ready for this day. I got to look my best this day. And that's already a lot on your plate and everything. And it's just like you're adding more on with everything else. And you had a billion things going on, you know, with all the clients and everything else. And it's just like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, but that's the thing though, is it's like, it's so hard because you see people going through these things and you want to talk to them, but you're like, is it my place?
Right.
So it's like, I don't blame anybody. You know, I'm not like, oh, whatever. And even the coach, I mean, he sucked, but like, it wasn't like, there's still like my part in it. And then like, I should have got myself out of it, or, you know, or whatever it might be. So it's not all on him. It's just one of those things of like, I just wish that I would have known that these things could happen, because I was just so naive, because I was natural. So I'm like, oh, well, I don't do drugs. So like, I'm good. Like, I'm just like, you know, I'm just losing weight. Like here, I'm just changing my body comp. Like it's one thing I'm not realizing internally that like, oh, this could cause me to be hypothyroid. Like I have hypothyroidism. This could cause me to have an autoimmune, and then it affect my eye because I'm the 3% out of the world. You know what I mean? Like, like,
my luck.
Right? Like, and so you just are like smacked in the face literally with stuff like that. So I've had to have a whole new normal and had to reevaluate everything. You know what I mean? Like I've had to take less clients. I train people out of my sponsored home gym. But thank goodness, you know, whatever, like all like to have that ability. But there's a lot of things now, like I don't drive all over unless I like choose to, you know, come to the borough or whatever. Like I'm not running myself ragged. You know, so it's like, I don't know. It's such, I feel like this was my only way to get to this point, because I would have never stopped. Like, especially if the eye wouldn't have happened. I mean, yeah. You know?
I mean, it's like foreshadow, because I mean, right now, like you literally, that would probably be the answer to the last question I'll have at you at the end of the day. But it's like that. It's like you need some kind of setback and everything else to reevaluate everything. Like I've had many of them, like me tearing my meniscus. Like that was the biggest setback. It's like, oh, but I was looking my best. I've lost the most weight I've ever lost, and everything else. Everything was actually lining up and doing so good for me. Yeah. And then bam. It's just like, all right, now we got to reevaluate everything. Right. And get started back from the very beginning. And it's rough, but it's always for the better, though, if you can overcome it. That's what I always tell people. You got to keep going and everything else. But it's like, I want to wrap back to, you know, the competing and everything else. G's done it. You've done it and everything. And it's like, if you had to tell somebody, like, what is something you wish you would have known more besides, like, the autoimmunes and everything else disease-wise, would it be, like, before going into it?
I think for me, if someone would have told me, I guess, like, I don't know, I feel like I was pretty aware of all the things that could happen, but I guess really, like, the mental side of it, like, if someone would have told, because like I said, been confident since birth. Like, I mean, truly just, I mean, I have been good with like everything I got going on, you know? And so it was one of those things where like, even I started to question stuff, and like, I would look in the mirror and be like, you're just not like, and I look back at these photos and stuff, and I'm like, sis, like, you know what
Like,
I mean, but I would look at other people and they did that, and I'm like, I can't believe they're doing that, you know, whatever. But I got sucked into it, so I can sympathize and empathize with the people who were not confident and then went into it, and how detrimental their health is now. You know what I mean? Right. And I really do feel like there just has to be more language about this, more talks about this, more love your body talks, because it's like you need support if you're going to be in that space. Like I don't think anybody should do bodybuilding unless they have a therapist. I don't think they should do it unless they have like a mindset coach or someone to support me. Spend all this money on your supplements, on your drugs, on your meal prep, on your whatever, but yet you don't have the therapist, or you don't have someone you can really talk to, because as you know, you feel like nobody gets it. Nobody understands. Like, how could you really? If you've never done it, you don't know.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's why I think like having friends that are in the space, and then having friends that are out the space, because you have friends in the space that are like they're not gonna let you stay in that dysmorphia. Like they're like, come on, Gerard, like
Yeah.
but like, okay, let's work on this, let's work on this. But then you have people that are outside the space that can kind of keep you in reality in a sense, like,
Right.
Because especially when you're in prep, in your mind, your whole life is prep,
Right.
and not thinking about all the other things that are around you. But that other side, that's not like they don't really care if you compete. They want you to win. They care about you, not how you do on stage.
Right.
And so like having that balance and like hanging out with both and not just because my first show I completely isolated from like everyone.
Yeah.
And so I mean I did well, great, all that, but I missed out on so much.
Right.
With the people that may not be into bodybuilding.
Right.
Or aren't going to the gym every day, all that kind of stuff. And like, so I'm not wrong. Like I said, I did well. I was in a good headspace. It's your first show.
Yeah.
So you're not really as burnt out. You get to show number 2.
Right.
Still don't have that support system. Or at least I'm not reaching out to them because all I'm thinking is the show.
Right.
And then I didn't do as well, but I wouldn't really equate that to my mental state. But
Yeah.
then we get the third show and I'm like, I'm really, and they were 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
But just like actually hanging out with the people I haven't hung out with in months.
Right.
Like, I missed out on, I was missing out on like weddings. I'm missing out on just like births of children from my friends and stuff like that. And you don't really think about how much you're missing when you're so like siloed in.
Right.
But having both is huge because there's times when you're just like, you don't feel like you can go on stage. You don't think you can do it. And,
Right.
And then you just have your friend that's just like, hey, let's just go watch a movie or something. Like,
See, and I wish I would have had that. I just feel like I feel like when I look back, I'm like 2 years, like I didn't do anything because I just poured everything into like my healing process and like whatever. But like I was too. And also my thing was I was just too tired. You know what I mean? Because I would do so much and like the business and whatever and all those things that like I was like I don't have any capacity to do anything else. Like I wanted to, but I was like I just can't. And for my friends and stuff like that, like I think they did a good job of trying to meet me halfway and like come to see me and whatever. But it was like I didn't really have a close bodybuilding group. You know, I had like a couple girls that I messaged and one of them's now my best friend, and we had that Instagram group and that really saved me. But it still was like, it was just so hard. And I think that everyone also saw me as somebody that they kind of put on a pedestal, that they were like, well, you've done so much. I mean, you're incredible, whatever. So they didn't really think to talk to me to pull me back.
Check to see.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just
like,
to check to see.
Yeah. And so I don't blame them for that, whatever. It's not their job. But it was one of those of like, I wish I could have been like, hey, this is about to be like really hard, harder than I ever could imagine. So like I'm gonna need you to like help pull me out if I need to be pulled out, and that's where I think a partner is really important. You know what I mean? Because I see a lot of people that compete that are married and stuff, and so like I feel like that's a good, you know, whatever. You know, because like if my parents said something to me, I'd be like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like
Y'all
you
know
know,
about
like
this.
y'all don't know, right?
Right.
But it is one of those of like. Then of course everyone afterwards like, oh, I wish I wanted to talk to you so bad about it or whatever. And I'm like, how about we live in a world where we're a little bit more transparent. We're not so afraid to hurt people's feelings. I'm like, growing up, y'all weren't afraid to hurt my feelings. So why now do you feel like it's a problem?
Right.
Why
You know what I mean?
Why did
Like,
it flip now?
like, I mean, I'm just being honest. Like,
and that's definitely something I learned too. Is like I know a lot, but I'm like, who's going to listen to me because I haven't done any kind of competing and stuff like this? And I'm like, no, but I've been around all of y'all. I can tell when somebody's mental headspace is off or something like that. And it's just like, it's better, and I got to step up in some of those roles too. I'm like, yeah, no, don't do it. They'd be like, why? I'm like, but just don't do it and listen to me right now. Is not the time.
Yeah.
And that's definitely one of the things I learned. And like, I try to be there all the time for G when he was going through it, because I'm like, ain't nobody else showing up and everything else. It's like, yes, I have a main reason to be here. Is he part of my company? But also I'm like, I'm being here for my friend and my brother. Like somebody has to show up. I'm going to go all the way out of my way to be here for these things. At least somebody will be out of our group, like be there.
Yeah.
It's rough.
I didn't realize how big of a difference it made, because like the Murfreesboro and the OCB show, like all my best friends were there and it was great. And then it was the Alabama show. I was like, I don't need anybody here. I'm by myself. I know what to do now.
Yeah.
And that whole weekend was just like, that was like the longest weekend.
oh yeah.
I was like, I just want to, the first second I get in the car and go home, I'm going.
Well, let's look at this. So when I did strongman competitions, so my best competition was the 2019, the one where I flipped the tire. Okay. why was that? That was the only one that my parents ever came to. My friends and ambassadors were there, had signs like Dani D crushing, Dani D, all the things, right? Like, it was so amazing. Like, I had clients fly in to see it, like, and it was just one of those of like, I felt so supported because all the other competitions, I just had like my trainer and my coach. I didn't really have, so it was very small knit, and I won it, did good, whatever. But then there was a nationals that I went to, the last nationals I went to, and I didn't have my coach, couldn't make it there, and so it was literally like my trainer and then a couple of the people I knew in the sport, and like I did horrible at that one. So there's like a direct correlation with having people surrounding you and that love and that support, and it
Makes
just
a big difference.
It does. It makes a huge difference. So I definitely think that you have to have that, and also too, I will say that like for me, because I went through my grief and everything, I had to. I would say over the past year and more now open to letting people in and like having. Like I can have authentic conversations when it comes to business stuff, but like having like personal, like opening that back up, has been a journey. So it is normal that when I look back of it, like, oh, how could you have isolated that much? I was still going through all that stuff. So it just was more natural for me to like enclose and not,
Yeah, I get that 1000%. I mean, even myself is like locking back in and stuff like that. It's like, I want to go back to the place where I was at a couple years ago where it's like, no, if it's not about my business and the gym and stuff like that, it's like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to be a part of it and everything else. Because like, that was the easiest time for me to say no to people wanting to go out to eat or go like this. And it's like, I'm literally trying to lock in and actually get down and lose more weight and everything else to show people. It's like, oh yeah, but like nowadays it's like, it's impossible for me to go back to that headspace because I know how valuable I am to others. Like if me being there and everything else is like being a call away. Somebody's like, why don't you sit down and have a day of just doing content? I'm like, if my life could go to that point where I could just stop doing everything and not answering my phone, I'm like, I don't know what would go on. Like I can't, I'm like, I'll sit down for a moment, try to start on something, but I'll get a call. I'm like, hey, my mom needs me to go here somewhere like this, or my grandmother, or somebody, a family member. Hey, can you come here? Like G or something like, hey, like what's up? And I'm like, all right, let me go. Boom, boom, boom. Forget what I was doing. This stuff can wait. I don't care about getting the post up and stuff like that much more. This is more important to me. And I'm like, I wish I had the time to just sit down and post and be out here like everybody else. But it's like, that's just not in my cards right now. Like,
well, and that's why like I had to have a real face-to-face like realization about my business, because oh my gosh, like I would be on the Stairmaster and I would be sending individual messages of like everyone's warm up for the next day. And I hated that so much. Like because I'm constantly then talking to everyone every single day, even when I don't see them, right? And I was just like, there's got to be a better way. Thankfully, I met this girl and she did a system for me. So now everything's automated. So they get their warm-ups every week, like it's automated. Their reminder to pay, automated. Once they pay, they get an automated link. Like everything is automated. Okay. Was that an expensive like deal to do? 100%. But the time and the pressure that I don't have to, because now they get a text 24 hours before and an hour before their session. So they ain't no forgetting. There's no like, oh, we missed it, right? Like, no,
I
like,
didn't know. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So like that helps me then be able to breathe. And then also like, again, with like the warm-ups and stuff, like it's already, like I said, pre-done, and we have texting now. So I have automated texts that go out to people who are subscribed. My newsletters go out every week, multiple ones a week. And I feel so positive about it because it's like, that was an investment of time, but also have my assistant. So for example, we had an event today, and I sent her just some videos and clips. I don't even know what I sent her, honestly. I just like, I was like, here's whatever. And she literally made a reel for me while I was walking, talking about the event, talking business with a couple of my clients, whatever. And like got to have that time with them off my phone. And she made it for me. And I was like, bruh, do you know how much that alleviated me? Because I would have been like, okay, what song, with this, what am I going to say? And she got it done in like, I don't even know how long it took her, but right? And to me, I'm like, those hundreds of dollars or whatever I pay her a month, like, that's worth it.
Yes, 1000%. I mean, I wish I'm ready to get to that point and stuff like that. Like, it's literally me do almost everything. And I'm like, yeah,
Right.
I got G because G is the very person that will schedule out everything, get
Yeah,
all this stuff down and work on
Yeah.
that. And it's like, as soon as I can get to the point, like, here goes everything, G, take over this part. I'm like,
Yeah.
my life will be a lot easier. But
Oh, yeah.
just hadn't made it to it yet. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it took me, like I said, it took, 6.5 years, 7 years? I mean, to get to that point, to be like, oh, let's like actually have some help. And like, cause I will tell you this, there is nothing more that I freaking hate than making a newsletter. I can't stand it. I don't get it. I literally would rather do anything else. Like, I don't like going to the dentist, but I'd rather go to the dentist to make a newsletter. Like, it was like so my bane of my existence. Like, I'm not good with technology. Like, I am just not good when it comes to putting things like whatever. And so I literally, it would be in like MailChimp or whatever. And I'm like, okay, put the block here, do this, whatever. I mean, it looked like a kindergartner was working on it. You know, and finally I'm like, I'm over this. Like, this is too much. So anyway, so just even having her do that, awesome.
game changer.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I enjoy it and everything else, but it's like I enjoy doing all the stuff behind the scenes. I'll enjoy editing videos and everything else, but it's like,
Oh, yeah.
I know I need to step away from it. But
Well, but like that's the thing is I enjoy getting some content, doing things when I want to. But if it's because I have to, you know what I mean? That's where it becomes a just a burden. So I definitely try to be like I definitely try to say that like certain things I still want to be a part of. It's not like she does all my content or whatever because I want to be authentic, real to the brand. If I feel like posting something, I'm gonna do it, even though maybe I had something scheduled or whatever. But again, it's like focus on like what you're good at and the things that bring you joy, and then all the other stuff, outsource it. And that's what I was told by all the people who do good in business and who have $1 million businesses and so things like that, whatever, because that's the only way they were able
to get to that point.
right? Because when you're doing all of it and you're the face of it and you're whatever, I mean, it's too much. And it took me like having to sit myself down and physically not being able to do it to be like, oh, something's got to give. What can I, right? So
Oh yeah,
But it's
I get
hard.
it. It's hard because I mean, me personally, I want to just be behind the scenes. I don't want to be seen and out here and everything else. But I know I'll have to be out here and be a part of it because I mean, it's literally built off the back of my reputation and what I've done already and stuff. Is like as much as I want G to be the person everybody knows and sees.
See, I'm like here and there. Like I like behind the scenes too. I think that's why we work well.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm like, hey, am I sitting on the side of this time? Or are you sitting in the front? He's like, no, you're in the front. I'm like, all right, fine, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I like it. It depends on the setting.
Yeah.
You know, like something like this, I'm happy to do. I'm happy doing it. It's a little more in our control.
Yeah.
It's a little more loose. It's not as formal. It's not as you got to be
Right.
this, and this. So I don't mind being the face of it. But when it gets a little more formal, I'm like, behind the scenes it is. You know, like,
Yes, I got you.
It's just like in front of the camera and stuff like that. G loves it and everything else and stuff like that. Where me is like, I can do it. It's nothing personal or anything like that. It's like I've done it for years. I mean, I've made old YouTube videos. I've done all the different social stuff and everything and been out here and done stuff. And people are just like, oh, how do you know how to do all this? I'm like, well, if you really found my personal YouTube channel, you'll see how I know how to edit videos and everything else. Because it's like, here goes a long laundry list of me like in high school and just slowly getting better and better and better. But yes, it switches platforms and stuff. And you have to do the whole timeline of it. But you can see, it's like, oh, he started right here with this kind of editing. It's a 20-minute long video, and like half of it's the exact same stuff. But hey, that's where I got started at, and I've enjoyed it and embraced it and everything else. And it's like, it's how I've gotten better at it. And it's like I've been lucky enough to work with all kinds of people and do it. I'm like, half the time I don't know what I'm doing, but we're here. I'm gonna try my best, and I'm gonna give it my all.
Do you cringe watching my YouTube videos?
No.
Because like I just started doing them, and I mean I have like my clips that are professionally done and whatever for the podcast, but in terms of just like working out or like a day in the life or whatever, so I have not even calf cut. I don't do that one. I just use this other one, and so it's like cutting up my stuff, and I was like, yeah, do that, and like okay, and then the captions and like and then I'm like okay, and I just put it out, and like. It's not really well done, but I'm like, whatever. Because for so long, I was like, do this. And I would make every excuse to not do it. And I'm like, stop this. Like, you're feeling better than you have in a long time. You know what I mean? Like, just health-wise, like, you're able to do more things. You're able to get back out there and do events. Like, because that's another thing, too, why I've, like, I don't think that anyone cared or anyone noticed, but like, you know, I used to put on like fitness festivals. I mean, like with a ton of sponsors, like everyone's probably else have been sponsors, like have been my sponsors, and like, and raised money for charity and do all these things and put on these huge things, right? And I would do a Move Fit pop up like every other week. Like, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, always had something going.
And right, but like I had to withdraw because of like bodybuilding was my excuse because of all that. But then afterwards, really, I was like, I didn't have the physical like or mental ability to go through with any of it. So I just now am been like, okay, we're doing these talks, and now I have Move Fit, you know, in the park, and then I have some other things that I'm going to be doing as well. So I'm trying to capitalize on that and like really enjoy it and like have fun with it. But it was just like I want to do those things, but also like not have what's the word? Not burn myself out.
Yeah.
So now I'm only doing like things that like really truly are like exceptional and that bring me joy. Like this one this morning was so easy. Like I literally showed up. I had my 2 clients who were like, they just love the brand. They bleed, you know, black and blue, and like they're just like Dani Fitness. And so it's so refreshing because they just don't want anything from me. They just love the mission, and it's so beautiful. And like they came, set up the table with me, and then like I got to speak to people about loving your body. That was like, I couldn't have asked for more.
Yeah, right in your wheelhouse.
Yeah,
like, it's
exactly.
Totally perfect. And it's, yes.
And now I want to do it. I mean, I've wanted to do it, but like my dream is like I want to do it in front of like thousands of people. You know what I mean? Like if Nissan called me up right now and was like, "Hey, we need you to like do this motivational talk. Like we need you to like talk about tell these people whatever." I'd be like, "Come on, let's go." Right?
Hey, we're gonna put that out there. You know,
Yeah.
we'll put that out there.
All right,
It's
we're gonna
definitely
plant a
gonna
seed.
happen.
Yes, I mean that or Move Fit, either
Water.
one. Like I can talk or I can dance.
I can
So
see you doing both.
Yeah, talk and then dance. Right
Yup,
after.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Dance and
motivate
talk. I don't
them,
know how
and
that
then
one
yeah.
Yeah, like here we go. Let's do it, guys. Get
Exa-
ready. Put the chairs away.
Yeah, move
Yes.
the chairs to the side.
No, I'll be like, rush the field, like come out.
Hey, that
with
would be
me.
kind of cool though.
Right?
Motivational speech, and then right after, because you're already feeling good.
Exactly.
And then go dance. Yeah, that'd be actually you might
I know.
have
I know.
an idea on your
I
hands
know.
here.
Oh, hey, you need to come up with a whole name for that part of it. It's just
Right.
like, oh yeah, we have the normal, just motivational speaking. We have Move Fit.
Yeah.
And then we have there you go. Now you got some ideas to work on now.
There we go.
I know. Like I said, it's my dream to do like more paid speaking engagements and to do more like Move Fits on like larger scales. So I mean, again, it's just like in time. But like I said, being healthy enough to do those things. So I'm like, let's do them. And kind of the way I look at it now is like, I don't know, like it's kind of I mean, you didn't tell me we were talking about this podcast or didn't get whatever. So,
No, that's
so
literally it. That's me. That's
so I'll, yeah. So anyway, so
catch on
I'll go
by
into
now.
this, but like basically like with my eye to be kind of like negative for a second, like I could go to sleep tonight and wake up and have less vision, like because I stressed out. So let's say that like I had a stressful day or something happened and it was crazy or whatever, right? And I worked myself up. I could have a flare up and wake up the next day and lose more sight. That is literally how, like, when people are like, how are you not like stressing out about stuff and like whatever? I'm like, because every time that I do or I get worked up, I literally lose my sight. So imagine that. Like, imagine like,
It's forced to chill out.
but you see what I'm saying? Like, imagine if every time you stressed out, someone hit you in the face. Eventually, you're gonna learn. I'm gonna
not
stop
gonna do
stressing out, right? You got to
Exactly.
figure it out. You got to meditate. You got to go walk around the grass or something. You got to play with Louie, like the dog across the street. Like you got to figure out something to do to bring you back down and help it. Because like now when someone does something or something happens, I'm like,
Ain't worth it. It ain't worth it.
But you see what I mean, though? I'm like, wait, well, there's literally nothing you could say or do. Maybe it might irritate me, but like before I would get worked up. Like, oh my gosh, my phone, I busted my screen the other day. It was just like the screen protector, but I looked at it and I was like, and then like kept on with my meal prep. But before I would have felt
Day's
like
over.
the day, yeah. Oh, I would have had a freaking fit, and how ridiculous, right? But I would have been so frustrated and so upset for nothing. And so now I have to really reflect because again, I can't live in fear either. Right?
true.
I can't be like, oh, every night before I go to sleep, like, I hope this doesn't happen. No, it's like, no, like, it's not going to. Like, it'll be fine. But even if it did, it's not in my control.
Yep,
It's in,
exactly.
it's in God's
It
hands.
is.
So for me, it's like I can only control what I can control, and that's the people that I surround myself with. That's the people that I choose to work with. That's the events that I choose to do. Like all of it has to be so purposeful now. So like even there's events that I won't be participating in because the environment and stuff now, and I'm just like pulling back from that. And there's things that like I just won't tolerate anymore. And people get confused about that, but it's like you're not. No offense to them, but like you're not worth my eyesight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
the most humblest way to put it. Like, but it's real though, and it's like for years I've been that way. It's like I'm not gonna get worked up about things, and I always say, it's all good. I'm never gonna complain about it and everything else. It's like I learned years ago. I think really back when I started working with Tyler, like so many things would not work out. I'm just like, why beat myself up, get mad or pissed off about it? It's like whenever the time comes, the time will come. And it's like, control what I can control is what I've been saying for the last several years to people. It's just like, there's no reason to be out here like, oh, you can't, all these just different variables. You just got to let them be. Like once the cards play, that's how the cards play, then react to it. Instead of trying to be like, it's got to be the exact same way. Everything's perfect. And that's why I've always said, it's just like, I don't worry about scheduling things out. I'll just be where I need to be at when I need to be there. It's like, I'll get there when I get there. And it's like, it come back to help a whole lot now, looking back. And it's just like, it's in God's hands. It's not in my hands. That's a better way to say it. It's how I've lived my life a lot of the times. It's just like, just let things go. Whatever it goes, it goes. I'm like, I'll be here when I need to be there. That's how it goes.
Yeah. For sure. He's like, yeah.
I'm like, yeah. I was like, not me at all, but yeah. You said, if everything's down, I was like, I would lose my mind.
Right. Yeah.
Except for like, okay, on Sundays, especially during football season, that's the one day where I'm like super peaceful. But then at the same time, I have fantasy leagues, so.
Oh my God.
That's where all my energy is in. But that's like, it's something fun, Like I can, like, if I don't win this week, I'll be fine. But like, I say that. But like, I mean, I'm obviously I want to win.
Don't get involved. I'm gonna let you know now. We all went out to eat like one time last year. Our whole group, me, him, Henry, Christian, and all this. We're trying to go out to eat. G has like 5 drafts on the exact same day while we're all trying to eat. And everything else, and I'm just like, see, this is why I just stopped. You know, that was another thing of stress I did not need in my life.
Right.
And it's so much more peaceful just watching football and not have nothing to worry about. Oh, so-and-so just dropped 3 passes in a row. Like, he just cost me this week. No, I just want to enjoy the football game.
But it's football. Like, tomorrow, I'm not thinking about work. No. I'm not thinking about bodybuilding. I'm not thinking about training. I'm just thinking about football. And then when football's over, it's like, oh, perfect, time for work, I will say though, on Sunday night, after Sunday night football, like if the score's not where it is, that does make Monday a little.
No, see,
but
absolutely not.
But I usually win.
But I don't care about this at all. So for me, it's like I don't relate, But so I get it.
Though.
But
that's the thing. I've hit that point. I'm with you now. Like, I understand all of it too, and I'm just like,
I don't usually. That's why I don't usually come to you.
Right.
It's usually
I probably got a couple extra gray hairs in my beard because of fantasy football. It's not worth it.
Yeah, and I think like as you get older too, you realize because I think he's still young, younger, right? So.
Yeah, probably. In the mind, In that sense, yeah.
So is he like 25? Like,
I don't know. I don't think
now?
he's going to leave.
How old are you?
I'm 30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah,
I thought he was like 25.
I was going to say, in my mind, in that sense, like.
He's a lot
just
younger.
like as we've learned with our experience, but I'm 31. So, anyway.
I promise people, my age, just a number. I'm a lot older. I act like an old head. I'm going to bed early. We already got enough struggles what it is when people be like, hey, bro, we're going out to eat. It's 9 p.m. for the dinner reservations. I'm like,
now that I'm with you on that.
That's awful.
It's out of pocket.
Just we're going out for dinner. I'm like, I mean, there's food right here at the
right. Yeah.
Right.
No. I will say this. Like when it comes to like relationships, like, and whether that's romantic or just friendships, like it is work, and so that's where it's like, that's a hard thing too, because when you're you're so tunnel vision on like, whether it's bodybuilding or it's your business or whatever. You're constantly like focused on that, and you're like, but one other thing, one other person, whatever. And so for me, like I really do, I thrive around people, and I'm extroverted and whatever. But man, I don't know if it was just because of the loss or because of like when I was injured and all that stuff, because I was in a 300 and what was it, or 465 square foot room, like at the influencer ship that I did at Connect.
Yeah.
So the room was like half this room, and it literally, like living there alone, like isolated me maybe a lot more, because I really enjoy it now. Like to the point where I'm like, I can actually like chill, like, and be like, oh, I can be good from people, away from people, you know? But I never used to be like that. But I think it's just like the mental toll. So it's like I have to find things that make me happy, but I also need to do them like with other people. So like I love to go to the movies. So like now what I'll try to do is invite like my best friend to come with me, and not just always go by myself.
Yeah,
You know what I
it can
mean?
get really easy to be by yourself. I was just telling my client I was training earlier, we were like, you know, it's really easy to be alone. Like,
Yeah.
and not in a bad way, to be like, I'm happy, I'm very peaceful just doing
Right.
things on my own.
Yeah,
Like,
but then that's the problem though, right?
Yeah.
Because
It
then
is.
we get because then it's like, well, then how does a man really need a woman, right? Or how does a woman really need a man? Or you know, so into those relationships, but then when it's like with friendships, it's like, well, the friendships, like they already have their people or whoever, and you're like, how do you make adult friendships? So it's like now I'm really trying to, like I said, like, you know, come on more podcasts, go to work out with people now, because again, not injured really, so I can like go do some
stuff.
things and not feel fearful of that. Go to events and doing more of that again, and making the most of it when I'm there. I mean, because it might not even be great, but like I went to an influencer event however long ago, and I in turn got a client. It was through another person that was there. I didn't even meet the client there, and literally she's been like a fantastic client. You know, so you just never know what's going to happen. So, and I used to always say that, like, just show up, and so now I'm actually showing up.
Yeah. And it makes a difference. I mean, that's literally been me and how my business has made it this far. It's like, it's not been all the advertisement and everything else. It's just like showing up, popping up at all these different events and everything else. It doesn't matter how big or small.
Yeah.
I'll be there. Literally just
because
pull
people
up.
remember. That's one thing I've learned,
Right.
like especially with Grindszn. Like there are some like smaller events that we've went to, and then like a year later, like, you know, or maybe months later, somebody will be at Olympus, but I remember you were at this event and this event. Like, thank you for coming, and you know, we see all your stuff, and it's like someone you didn't remember you talked to, you know, stuff like that. And so,
There's been times people be yelling at my name, and I'm just like, how do you? I've never seen you a day in my life.
Right, yeah.
But I mean, I love it though, and it's like I wouldn't change it for anything at all. Like that's literally what it's been this whole journey, and everything else is just like, who knows where you might see the next person and stuff. And it's like there's been several times like I've just been in the gym shooting with somebody, and somebody will walk up and be like, oh, so you do this? And I'm like, well, yeah, this is my business and everything else, or anything else. Or somebody else will tell them, they're like, oh yeah, like, hey, I like your shirt, and they'll be like, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, it's Matt, that dude that's right over there working out, and they'll just come up to me and stuff like this, and I'm just like, I've been at the gym just training and had people come up, and I like talk to them almost every day now.
Right.
And you never know. It's like if you don't go out and do these things, you never know what you're missing out on too.
For sure.
I will say 1,000%. But yeah, like, so I mean, I've enjoyed this, and like I will break it to you now, like while we're already in like almost an hour in. This is what the podcast is all about. It's just off the realm, off the top. You know, we come in here and have a good time. We let people tell their story and everything else. Talk about what's all going on in their life, how they got here, the ups, the downs, and everything in between. But I don't really, you know, want to do any backstory and everything else, like actually giving out, here goes all the stuff we're going to ask. And like, we're just keeping it real.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what I love about it and everything else, because it's like, that is my life.
Yeah.
There is no just, you know, oh yeah, this is the set schedule and everything. So it's like I've gotten into more training over the year, and I've really enjoyed it, and I'm actually doing my classes. I'm getting through them and everything else, even though I find them very boring and just big words. What do you say is your favorite part about training?
About training clients?
Just in general, yeah, like.
My favorite thing. So, well, this is gonna sound so ridiculous. But training has always, starting out in the beginning when I started personal training, like I was very fortunate to have a lot of mentors and good people around me who taught me the ways to do things and ways not to do things. So because of that, personal training is very easy for me. It is not hard. I relate well to the clients. I know how to read them. I know how to structure a workout. Like, I know how to make it flow every time they come in. It's like an event for me. You know what I mean? So like for me, creating that safe space has been very seamless because I think that God's whole purpose for me was to help people through movement. So now when people ask like, what do you do? I'm like, I help women love their body through movement. And, you know, and so for me, it's like, that's always just been, like I used to be in DECA, like, if you remember that in college, it's like in marketing and stuff. And so you basically get these scenarios where they're like, you know, you sit at a thing and you got two people judging you basically. And we walk in and I'm so-and-so and you're so-and-so. And I have to make up this whole deal about our business and our plan and our structure and what we're going to do. Right. And like when I was really good at that. And even with like Dandy Fitness, I was like, this is what's going to be. This is what it's going to do. I came out the gate hard. Like, I mean, we had bands, we had shirts. My logo was everywhere from day one. And like, that is how I got it out there. You know what I mean? I wasn't bashful. I wasn't like, oh, like, I'm just like doing this like training thing. And like, you know, like a lot of females, no offense to them, are in this space. And it was like, no, everybody get a shirt. You get a shirt. You get a shirt. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, people are walking around the grocery store wearing the shirts. Like, and so everyone's seeing it, like, who's Dani? Who's Dani? Fight for what you want. What does that mean? Love your body? Like, why? Like, you know? And it just, and it was so cool. So like, so again, it was just this whole thing and this idea of like, okay, I know that what it's going to do, like, in terms of like my mission is to help people. So like, how can I do that? And so it just kind of all flowed really naturally. So that's what I would say with personal training. Like, it's just for me, never felt like work. You know, like, yes, it's hard and the days are long and people are people, right?
Yes.
But it's not work. It's like my passion and my career. And I think people get that confused. People would be like, oh, like, well, then it's perfect. That's not it.
No,
It's
never perfect.
It's never perfect.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not it. Like, I do have hard days or people can be heavy and like, there's a lot that can happen or I can overbook myself or overextend or whatever, right? But it's just, again, it's just been very seamless no matter where I've been. So
I've enjoyed it. Like, I'll say I like building up the people's confidence. A lot of people don't have any type of confidence in themselves or believe in themselves and stuff like that. And it's just like, oh, there's no way I can do this. And I'm like, well, technically, if we just do this math and everything else, you just really did that much weight. I just added like 5s instead of putting on a whole 25. You just didn't know and did the math fast enough to tell.
Right.
And stuff. And they're like, wait, I did? I'm like, yeah, watch.
Right.
And then it's like, you see that and everything else and their whole perspective change. And I'm like, that is what it gets the best, like little Easter eggs things. And I'm just like, I love this part right here.
Yeah.
And it's been the most amazing thing so far.
Well, and with Love Your Body, like the whole mission behind that is so that these women, I mean, I say women, I help men too, but like these women mainly are changing their lives. So they're getting out of toxic relationships. They're, you know, like moving forward. They're asking for raises. They're going and having different jobs. Like it's so much more than just movement. And it's, again, yes, building confidence, right? And that's huge. But it's to the point where it's like, if they can learn to love themselves, they will start looking at everything in their life differently. Their finances, their food, I mean, you know what I mean? Like how they treat others, how others treat them. And so I really do believe that the mission can help people transform if they just, if they follow the program.
Yeah, they got to buy in. And that's one thing I was trying to get out of you right there. It's like, it's more than just, you know, you training them and helping them, you know, love their body. It's like, it'll affect every aspect of life and so much more. It's like, don't just look at it as, oh yeah, hi, this is your trainer now, this is what we're going to do. Right. It'll really change your whole life and outlook on life, I would say. Yeah. Most definitely. But, you know, here we are, you know, getting close to that hour in. I like to ask my favorite question, which I said earlier. You probably already hinted towards it and everything else. I'm like, what has been your greatest setback but ended up being your biggest blessing? I've had several of them and everything else. Like my knee, tearing my meniscus was one of them. Yeah. G, do you had one? You know,
I would say back in college. So when I was in my fraternity, I had a roommate, and he kind of just didn't pay rent at all and left us in a really bad spot where I had to cover all of it and kind of put me in a hole. But I had to figure out how to get out of that hole and just kind of figuring out, one, I learned how to budget, but also like it was like such a low point because that was the one time where I was like, I'm not asking my dad. I'm not asking him. I'm not getting the help. I was like, I'm going to figure this out on my own.
Right.
So it was a great way for me to figure out how to be like all the way down here, start from the bottom and get yourself back where you need to be. So now whenever I hit low points, I think back to that and kind of go, okay, like we're not there. So at least we can, there's always a way up, even if I still feel like I'm really low and I can't get out of the situation.
Yeah.
Like I know that I know how to get out of that hole, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
So.
And you wouldn't have known that if that wouldn't have happened. And so I always try to look at like negative situations as like that they were essential, like that's what helped me. And like, I'll say that like my biggest setback, like, I mean, yes, it sucked, like leaving and losing, like not being able to feel my leg for 3 years. Like that was awful. My eye, was a big setback, obviously. But the biggest thing was like when my boyfriend passed away, I learned so much about myself because he was just not a great person. And I, again, it was one of those things of like, I don't want to say a setback, but it did. It kind of like numbed me because I never lost anyone before. Not a grandparent, like nothing. So it was for me this whole world of like, whoa. Because, and if you've lost someone, then there's people who like, and like even my best friend the other day, she sent me a message and she was going through a grief anniversary of someone that she lost. And she said, I just want to let you know, like, I didn't get it before. And I'm sorry if I ever discredited how you felt, or you know what I mean? And I was like, no, you were like one of the only people that was there and never judged me. So that was like beautiful, like, but that she could now, I hate that she can relate, but like that we have that because it is like that. And so I would say that taught me though, now what I won't tolerate, that my self-esteem completely has changed, from then and not being manipulated, not feeling less than, and not trying to save anybody. You know what I mean? Now, same thing with clients. Like if they don't want to be here, then don't be here. Like I can't save you. I can only be there in support. And that was something that I thought if I could love someone so much and so intensely and so whatever that like, really like the whole Titanic, that's my favorite movie, right? But that whole mindset like that, that love will conquer it all. And it's like, nah, like Jack couldn't fit on the door, on the table. He couldn't get on. So like he lost it, so he had to pass away. Anyway, but then she was able to live her life, right? And again, much more romantic sense than that, but from my situation, but it was just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it 1,000% because it's like, that was like a while at a time. Like I thought I was never good enough. It's like I was doing everything. It's like, wait a minute, no, it's not me. Yeah. It is like I am a good person. Everybody else sees it, and everything else is just like that person doesn't get it. Yeah. You can lead somebody to the water, but you can't make them drink it.
Right.
Like there's a lot of different sayings I've heard over the years. Just like it's on them at the end of the day. Like you can only do so much for somebody, and then at the end of the day, it might be starting to hurt you more than anything. Like you gotta let go. And it's so much better, I would say too. So.
Well, and also like, and I think a lot of when we internalize it of like, if someone rejects us, right? That like, oh, it's our, like, what can we do better? What can we, and sometimes simply, it's just not the right person.
Right.
Like, it's just not it. Like, and it doesn't mean that makes you less or whatever, right? And it's the same thing when someone like ends up dating somebody that looks totally different than you, right? You could be like, oh, well, it's because they look that way. But you both can be beautiful. You know what I mean? You both can be handsome, but it's just not, you know what I mean? It's like they're more compatible or whatever.
It's not the fit.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be this personal attack on yourself every time. Or like for me, like I said, like that I wasn't enough or this or that or whatever. It had nothing to do with me. Like he had serious issues that only he could face. You know what I mean?
Like the timing. It's just, it could all be in the timing and everything. It was just like, y'all could have been perfect, like 3 years from now or something like that. Like they finally got over something. But at that time, it's just not meant to be.
Yeah.
1,000%.
And so, like I said, it's taught me only positive. So when I got into another relationship, like whenever that was, like a year and a half ago or whatever, it taught me that as soon as that person lost my trust, it was over. It was done. Like there was no like, oh, let me try to make it work, or oh, let me like fight for it or whatever. It was simply like, absolutely not. I'm gonna head out. And you're lucky I didn't hit you in the face on the way out. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was just like, or get somebody to. Like I had people who were going to slash tires. Like, but again, it wasn't worth it. Y'all think I'm crazy, but like I have them on speed dial. So Anyway, but
Do I need to talk about my own person? I have had held back people from hurting other individuals. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I was like, she's like, I'll cut all her hair out. Just let me know the next time she pull up and stuff. I'm like, look, we're not gonna do that.
Right.
We're not gonna do all that. Just tell me this and that. And I'm like, no, we're not gonna get all this other stuff. No, like just let them be. I'm gonna be the grown person here, even though I should be the one that's mad.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. So it's like, again, even though it had to be so blunt and so harsh and so life altering, it really did show me that, like, man, like I just have a better approach at life now, and I, like, with my confidence and all of my stuff that I have going on, like, I will never let someone take away my light again. Or overshadow or make me feel like I need to pull back, or, like, you know what I mean? And so now it's I'm very transparent about stuff, and I'm very open. And if someone has a problem with it, then it's like, okay, on to the next. You know?
It saves time.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
Real quick.
So yeah.
Because I mean, eventually you're gonna get to those topics anyway. So it's like, you might as well kind of get them out in the open.
Correct. Yes.
Exactly.
So,
Nip it in the bud now. Like, hey, at least we didn't waste as much time.
But yeah, exactly. So that's why I try to tell my girls that too, when they get upset about talking to someone like, oh, I wasted 3 months, or I wasted a year, whatever. I'm like, bruh, like, you could be in a way worse situation. And also, like, again, that you should learn from that. I know it sucks, and if you feel, like, I don't know. So I guess, like, for me, it's like, I'm kind of like in a state of, I don't take it as personal now, and I can actually start to enjoy the process of, like, trying to date again, and, like, and, you know, and find out, like, what do I like? How do I want to be treated? What does that look like? Right. And so I just think that that's only putting me further, like, in closer to, like, my future husband, and people who only want to be around me for the right reasons, and not to use me or to take something from me, like how so many did before.
Yeah, I get that a lot, and I definitely see that a lot more now. It's like, I can see some people just trying to take advantage of, like, oh yeah, I have all these contacts and everything else, and it's just like, it is wild, the world we live in. I'm just like, you could have had so much more, but you'd rather just take advantage of the situation. I'm like, that is weird. Like, why?
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like that's pretty much like human nature, because everyone is in this rat race, and everyone wants to get ahead or prove to someone. And this goes back to what we're talking about bodybuilding and stuff, of, like, you know, just the nonsense of, like, why people feel like they can't open up, or why they can't really feel like their best self, because they have to, like, put on this physique, or everything's perfect. What do you mean? Like, I don't have any eye problems. Like, it's fine. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's just like, no, like, you can be transparent. It doesn't make you less than. And, oh, you're struggling? Cool. Everyone else is too. Like, we should talk about that more. People should have a safe space to talk about this stuff more. There would be less suicides. There'd be less issues. There'd be less of the nonsense and dirty stuff that goes in. We go into a whole thing about that. But, like, all that stuff, if people just had a safe space to just be open and not, you know, constantly harboring all these issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I get that too, because it's like, I'm gonna be real with it. Like, I'll tell people, like, oh yeah, I did this, and I feel bad and everything else. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I'm telling you both sides of it. Like, I'm gonna give you the yes and the no. That's why my cousin calls me the yes or no cousin. It's like, well, it can go like this, or it can go like that, and everything else is like, I'm gonna think of the best way it's gonna work out and the worst way if these are gonna work out and everything else. And it's just like, why? I'm like, because I'd rather you know it all now beforehand. If anything goes wrong, it's like, but why didn't you tell me this could happen? I'm like, I'd rather not never be the problem.
Yeah.
About things. So, man, where can everybody find you at and everything else? You know, it's almost getting that time. You know, you got places to be.
I know I got to go to church, y'all. So Dani Fitness 1 on everything. So DANI Fitness 1. And you can check out my podcast as well, the LYB podcast on Spotify and YouTube. And I always appreciate a follow. I think that so many times people think that I'm, you know, like, popular or, like, whatever it is, right? And but it's the thing is, guys, is that, like, the mission still needs to be shared. Exactly. So every time you share a clip, every time you share, you know, this podcast, or you get, you know, wherever you help small businesses like us get out there and for people to experience it, and because you never know who might see it, you never know who may, you know, come across your page and stuff like that. So I always appreciate, because I'm only one person, right? So I can only share, but it's like, it's not me sharing, it's then my people sharing, and then those people sharing, and those people sharing, and that's how we grow, and that's how we get people to understand that you can love your body throughout movement. You can enjoy the process of bodybuilding. You know, you can find people who really care for you, and you know, it's just so much more like positive out there. You know,
1000%. I get that, and I'm like, that's me. I'm like, hey, can you? Yeah, I got you. I'm definitely gonna share it. If I see something, I'm like, yeah, I'm in it, or something like that. Like, yes, I'm like, we're always a bigger something bigger than all of us.
Do you know that I go through Instagram every day? We're pretty much on my like Stairmaster or doing something, whatever, and I look at everyone's stuff and I make sure that I've liked everyone's stuff. Like I try to do that, you know, like Tyler's stuff or your stuff, or like whoever, right? I try to be like, okay, like it at least. If I really want to share it, I'll share it. If I want to comment, whatever, like, and sometimes I just do a comment, I do like an emoji, because I'm like, you know what, you took time to do that, so I'm like, pop off, keep doing it, and more people need to do that. Versus just being like, oh, like they're gonna keep doing it, because then they start to expect you to just show up always, and it's like,
see, there you go.
You know, like so. Anyway,
don't expect too much. Oh, right. Me, but I mean, I'm the same way. I need to get out and get back on the grams more. Like I'll go in and all the stuff I'm tagged in. That's about it. I'm gonna share me like 1 or 2 memes real quick. The show is like, hey Matt, I'm still around. I'm still cracking jokes about the same stuff. But now that I actually got a new phone, because my battery just trashed the bed over the last couple weeks, but but anything big coming up your way? Anything, other events, like, you know, you had one today?
When's this going out?
That's a great question. I don't know the answer to myself.
Okay, so the end of March, we're doing Move Fit, and that's at the Walk of Fame Park, and that's a huge deal for me because this is my first partnership with the Nashville downtown in the park system. I've been trying to get in there for years, so it's finally coming together. So I'll be doing Move Fit there. It's going to be a huge deal, so I'm excited. Have some sponsors, and then it's right there by the Country Music Hall of Fame. So we're doing that, and then I'm talking to Fostered Youth in April, doing a speaking engagement with them, and then I'm doing in May the Music City Expo. I'm also talking here in the borough at the Breakfast Club May 8th. That's for women only, and so it's a fun little spot. And then the expo at the end of the month there. And then besides that, man, as of right now, that's all I got. So that's all right now.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. I'm trying, like I said, I'm trying to line it up though. And so if you're watching and you want me to come speak at, you know, schools or after school programs, like I really want to get more into that. Like I said, I don't care if it's speaking out in a park, if it's speaking, however, I'll do it. Like I just genuinely want to get this message out there. I think the activities that I do, the workshops that I do, PowerPoint that I have now, it's very powerful, and it's actually making people think and start to change the way that they view their body and view their journey. And so I'm really excited to see how far it goes.
I can't wait to see. I'm going to be paying attention. You know, I'm always just sliding in, being nosy. Here I go.
Show up, yes.
Pop up, pop out. I'll try to be there. So, but thanks for coming on.
This was
most definitely, it's great. You know, we'll see you when we see you and everything else. I mean, I really enjoyed it. It's always a great time when I get to see you. I enjoy it. You never know what event I might be at next of yours and stuff like that. So, with that being said, if y'all like the video, leave a comment. Who y'all want to see out here? And as always, God bless.
That was great. Thank you. Gee, you don't say a lot.
Most of the time, people don't really realize that. A lot of people are going to sleep. A lot of people. There's a lot to sleep on, right? Maybe. It's about time we start giving people wake-up calls. So guess what? This one will be the first wake-up call. It'll be the first wake-up call. Very much if you've been sleeping now, make sure that you're awake.